Hello, catch-up time again. So, if you haven't watched my last few videos, not much of this will make sense, but another 2 weeks have passed and adulting is still going strong. Although, I will say, so is retail therapy. In all the Black Friday sales, I've never had much time to pay attention, and now it's like, ooh, all the things I wanted cheap. But on the running health front, thankfully, there's been no more, since the last video, no more like massive downward spirals. No more fevers. Like, do I feel good? No. But have I had any weeks feeling quite as bad? No. So I've also had a cardiologist appointment, a couple of doctor's appointments, and yeah, I think we are slowly finding a picture of kind of what's going on, possibly. Although still waiting for some blood test results. I have that many more doctor's appointments in the next 2 weeks. It's kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. And so to start back in the sort of the ways I learned things, which I suppose this has always been in the back of my mind, because I knew these things existed. I have studied biomedicine, done nursing, have lots of friends in the sort of spoony world of chronic illness. So essentially, yes, the POTS is there, but I'm still waiting to see the rheumatologist and a few other people to get full, like, do I have these diagnoses? Do I not? At the end of the day, does it matter? I don't mind about the diagnoses and the labels. Obviously, they help you get fun support or the right kind of support and path forward. But at the same time, I suppose I just care more about that path forward. But my sports doc came to me with a very cool flowchart, which I will try and explain in a more in-depth video that it's a bit too medical. But essentially, I'm hypermobile. I've always known I've been hypermobile because half my family is hypermobile. There's also a thing that runs in my family called Sickler syndrome, which part of that is hypermobility. I need to do the genetic testing for that. There's a lot. And then there's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is I have not been diagnosed with as yet, but we are looking into that, as well as mast cell activation syndrome, something like that. Mast cell, it's got an acronym, another acronym along the way. But as far as I can tell, especially in this flowchart, which I will put a picture of to see so everyone can kind of see, or the Venn diagrams, my editing, and flowchart. So essentially, POTS paired with mast cell activation syndrome paired with hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos or hypermobility, which is, as far as I've researched, is often found all concurrently. It's kind of like when it rains, it pours. But the research on it seems fairly recent, and all the things that they're finding it's correlated with. Those three combined make it a lot more likely that you're going to have long COVID, chronic fatigue, which myalgic encephalitis, all encompassing. And funnily enough, also makes it like I think it's like 7 to 10 times more likely or something that there's also ADHD and autism, which I'm ticking all the boxes. So of those diagnoses, like I have some form of post-viral fatigue, I have diagnosed ADHD, I have diagnosed level 1 spectrum, and I have diagnosed POTS. So then if I have the other two, I've got the full, it's not even a trifecta because that's a lot more than 3. My body. Anyways, those then have this fun downstream effect, which is a whole bunch of other things. Can be autoimmune conditions, can be like, one fun one which was explained to me is cervical instability, which I feel to my core. Like half of the time when I'm tired or dizzy or like I need to lie down, it's almost because my head feels so heavy on my shoulders that I can't actually keep it upright anymore. But I kind of can, but it's so unbearable to try that you need to lie down. It's a really weird feeling. And that could possibly be explained by that. I've had to have a whole bunch of physio done just on my neck and jaw, and that's helped a lot. Some TMJ physio, some neck physio, shoulders taped, which is new and weird and interesting. So essentially, when my doc brought this flowchart to me, I was like, oh, I feel seen. Because there are far too many things on there. Like, there's diagnoses, I suppose, on it that I've had in the past. Like, I've had stomach surgery for reflux. I have been diagnosed with gastroparesis. I take medication for like slow motility. And there's a lot of other things that I sort of came into this acute period of illness with. From many, many years ago. I have asthma. I'm the person that's allergic to everything. Like, my sports doc did put it like, well, you came into this crap period with a whole bunch of these things. And I'm like, yeah, by no means is my body ever going to be perfect. Not trying to get it there. It's not going to. But my baseline capacity, despite the asthma, the allergies, the guts that aren't exactly great with celiac and they've been rearranged surgically and all sorts of things going on in there. Like, my baseline's still pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I was able to do quite a lot despite everything. So I'm not trying to get back to perfection. I'm just trying to find my new normal to then work with and build my capacity within. So we're on a bit of a rabbit hunt. I don't know. We're like just trying to figure out what works. I'm currently I'm taking some more antihistamines and a few other things to see how that all goes. And then I saw the cardiologist. And this is where things got really fun in a way in the last couple of weeks. This was only this week, a few days ago now. Essentially, I was told, and I like a cardiologist, amazing guy, and he essentially put it in a very pragmatic way of, it doesn't actually matter what the problem is, POTS, chronic fatigue, dysautonomia. Sometimes I get that great and sometimes not. It's kind of the same path forward from here. I've done the rest piece. It's been 3 months, a long time of not doing much. So he's now said essentially the only path forward is exercise. He's like, the only treatment that works for POTS is exercise, or the only proven treatment. So I'm a professional athlete that's just been told to stop resting and I need to exercise, which is fun in some ways. The not fun part is him going, well, it probably will feel crap to begin with while we rebuild some form of capacity for me to do things. But that's okay, because the fact that a doctor's told me to do it and it's okay to feel crap means it's like, okay, I can push through that. It's what I never like pushing through is going, is this harmful? Is this detrimental, or is this good? But I've been told it's good. So where are we at with that? I do have a stress echocardiogram booked, which is going to be interesting. But the cardiologist put it in a cool way where essentially if I had to go try and run my normal easy run pace, which I can do and is what I was doing with the walk run in a way, like it wasn't quite there, but it was fast enough. My heart rate goes really high. Like I'm talking, it can be in the 160s to 170s at very slow paces. So what he wants me to do is essentially stay away from everything I used to train like. He put it like, well, your body was trying to tell you to rest from all of that stuff. So it wants different stimuli. So essentially I've got to go for short, easy runs, but by easy, he means like 6 minutes a K or slower, easy, like truly shuffling kind of easy. And then I also, a few times a week, he wants me to do like very short, fast. So that's a bit of fun. And I got to do that this week, essentially kind of strides. But I'm now naming this next phase training like a sprinter, because that's kind of what it feels like. Although I am going to try probably like 2 months really, because it's going to be a slow rebuild. Like this is going to take months to get back to somewhere where I can do much. And he was in no uncertain terms saying, expect this to take a long time, which is fine. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it being a nice gradual process. But 20 to 30 Ks a week, 3 to 5 kilometers at a time, because he wants like consistency. So running more days than not, every day if I can. But like yesterday I went out and ran 3 Ks at 6-minute Ks. So a nice 18-minute run. It was great. Weird, but great. So, and even then, like I did 6-minute Ks at my usual, like it was a 140 heart rate. But I did get to on Tuesday do some strides and awesome 25-second efforts. And they were fun. Like I felt like absolute crap afterwards, but they were fun. So there was 4 Ks there with 4 by, one end of the footy oval to the other, which the first few took 25 seconds and the last one took 23 because I went fast and it was fun. And my speed's still there. Like my speed reps for 4 rounds with full recovery of 20 seconds. It was there. It's just not, it's not very much running, hence the sprinter. So I'm doing that plus some hill reps, like I did 4 by 30-second hill reps later in the week, and they felt good. And I do actually think I'm improving already with these sort of 20 to 30 minute runs, and no run walking. So he wants me doing like, when I do the easy runs, it's like slow enough that I can just run that whole time for the sort of 3 to 5K. And even next week, getting out in the mountains, or he said essentially go to Mount Dandenong, hike up it slowly, jog back down really slow. I have a feeling there's going to be DOMs from that. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, essentially my training for the next month, 2 months is going to be good old boring stuff. Not much, but rebuilding some form of base and essentially trying to reset my nervous system, which it kind of feels like the fast stuff's already doing, because my heart rate, even just on like that Tuesday where I did the 4 by 25-second ones, my heart rate at running at 6-minute Ks on the way to the track, because I did like 1K, 1.5 Ks warm up, was already in the 160s at 6-minute Ks. But then in the sprints, it was like I'd start from a low heart rate, I was trying to recover and trying to get it back down, and I could maybe get it into the 120s, more likely 130, while standing there for a few minutes. So it doesn't go down much, but it would go up really quick in the 20 seconds or so. I got to like 188, but then it would actually come down with each rep. It came down faster. But then I do have this weird thing where like if I walk, it'll slowly come down. If I try and stand still, it goes back up. So anyways, all I'm trying to say there is my body's signals and what it's doing and how it's reacting to exercise is all out of whack, like completely jumbled, and we're trying to reset it. So I'm hoping over the next week or so that like what should happen is my easy runs being nice and short, that 20 minutes or under, the heart rate does drop and it settles instead of continuing to rise. And then I see similar things in the short reps where like it goes up and it comes back down, but when it comes back down, it comes lower. So we'll see how that goes. And in the meantime, I'm just spending all my money on four-wheel drive kit and camping kit in the hope of adventures in the future, and yeah, not trying to think too much about races or like there's no way I can think about them, but next year, it's like once you hit December, everyone's like, oh, we're planning for next year, and I'm like, well, next year is going to be interesting. So anyways, that's my update. I'll try and, I always say this, but I'll try and update again soon because I do want to talk through sort of that flow chart of what I think is going on, but I want to have a few more answers first. I want to see a couple more doctors, and there's a few things on there we need to figure out still. So that'll be a bit of fun. That's my rabbit hole research that I'm going on. And otherwise, I am running again, like a sprinter. Or either really, really slow and short, or really, really fast and short. I'm going to enjoy that process while it lasts. So, yeah, there's me.